Okay, first order of business here. This is something that has been on my mind for a while, and I need to get it out of the way. You will be mine, Snorlax. Ah. Okay. Now, I'm gonna apologize here for the really fucked up audio. I'm not exactly sure what happened here. I guess it's just the quality I had the audio set to really messed it up after the recording finished. I switched around later and it recorded perfectly. I'm just not sure what happened here. So yeah, after giving my Snorlax the most appropriate name ever, we can move on to more important stuff. Now, moving on to this point of the game is where the game starts to get kind of annoying. Namely, everything's levels just like jump dramatically. So, things we've been dealing with up to this point, I've been fairly on the level with, but now they're like in the high 30s to low 40s. So, my plan of attack here is to basically take on a bike route, and then take on the Silent Bridge area, and get all the experience that I possibly can before moving on with the game. Now, starting off with Cycling Road, I brought Trap in instead of Olala, and this ended up really leveling the crap out of Trap, but like by the end of this, he was insanely high leveled compared to the rest of my team, and even after the Silence Bridge part, I think Trap is still the highest level. So yeah, that was what happened with this whole thing. So I'm not really sure what to talk about, because I've got like 19 minutes to kill here, even after speeding it up to double. So 19 minutes of this can get pretty old pretty fast. Also, not evolving Bosberry yet. I just love Spheal too much. So yeah, for a while, anytime we have an evolution sequence for Bosberry, she is not doing anything. So I tried to get the experience going around evenly, but on Cycling Road, as it turns out, Trap is pretty much the most ideal thing possible for all this, and I end up using him for a good majority of the fights here, which is why he gets so high leveled by the end of this. Yeah. I could just take the cheap way out and put a bunch of music over this, but since I haven't updated this in like, I don't know how long, that would be kind of, I guess not really an insult, but it would be a bit of a cop-out. Jeez, there are so many bikers. I got a bit of an inferiority complex going here. I mean, I've got a bicycle, and these guys have got real motorcycles. It's like, who's the kid here? I am. Oh, wheezing. That's something you notice about the first gen. A lot of the evolutions were basically either one Pokemon getting tripled or just like doubled. And then there's stuff like Electrode, which is basically the same Pokemon with its colors inverted and it's slightly bigger. Oh. Ariados. Ariados is cool, but its stats and its move pool kind of leave a lot to be desired. Well, okay, maybe not its stats, but namely its move pool. It gets no good moves. So, heading down Route 17. And this area is really annoying, since it's supposed to be on a hill, but due to the graphical limitations of the Game Boy Advance, it doesn't really seem that way. So you just seem to be inexplicably going down all the time, really fast for no reason. And for some reason, that guy just decided to whirlwind the crap out of me, and I ended up getting experience spread across 4 Pokemon, which is effectively nothing after all the splits. Nah, I like Umbreon. It's not the best evolution, I'll be the first to admit, but I still like it. Might be due to some experience I had with Umbreon. Basically, when I played Pokemon Coliseum, it was pretty much the only Pokemon I could get to last for a good amount of time. Because of how high its defense was, I could basically just like stall Pokemon out and kill them slowly over time. And I guess I just grew fond of Umbreon. It was also my highest level Pokemon at the end of the game, so I just kept swapping out Shadow Pokemon. Not really building an effective team. Which is not a good strategy in that game, because everything's a double battle. And we've still got 16 minutes of this left to go. At this point, I may consider going with music, but later. I can talk this out for now. So yeah, for the sake of experience, I make sure to hit every single trainer. Ah, cue balls. So, I suppose while we're doing this bullshit, I guess I can let's talk about some other things related to the Mons, like the Nuzlocke run. As of yet, I have still not actually done any of the training I need to do in that, but I have figured out what I'm going to do for my team. I'm going to bring in another Pokemon for that, and it's not going to be Dratini, because there's really not much I can do with it unless I grind it up to a Dragonite. So, I'm going to bring in a bit of an unexpected contender. This was a Pokemon I didn't plan on using, but after going over its stats and going over its move pool, namely this is a Pokemon that can learn the elemental punches, I realized that there may be something to using it. So, yeah, I decided to make a trip to Fuchsia because half my team was dead and I didn't have the items to heal them. And not evolving Bosberry is kind of already having its ramifications because I'm starting to get to the point where all of the other trainers have, well, not fully evolved, but evolved Pokemon, and Bosberry is starting to fall behind a bit. I decided on maybe evolving it around level 40 or so, but for now I just like it as a Spheal, because Spheal is awesome. Important thing to note about Swablu, it does not become a Dragon type until it evolves. It is actually just your stock normal flying type. So, electric attacks are actually super effective against it. Now that Altaria would have been a good situation to still have Bosberry around, because it's got a 4 times weakness to Ice. That was one thing I really liked about the 5th gen, is that they actually added a few pure Dragon Pokemon. Pretty much all dragons up until this point had Dragon Flying, which meant the one main weakness that dragons have, which is Ice, really comes in against these Pokemon, because they've got a 4 times weakness to it with the Flying type. Haxorus is awesome. Ugh. This first part of the video was actually recorded a long time ago. I just never got around to actually doing anything with it. I actually came back to it today and recorded the rest of it, because I was reminded of this in a recent comment on a video that I have been kind of neglecting this, and it does need updating. I'm probably gonna record a little bit of footage for the Crystal Nuzlocke, then start doing my training. I'm gonna show off the special Pokemon that I'm gonna end up using. Training might take a while, not too long since I'm using Super Speed, but since my only options for training are wild Pokemon, it's basically gonna put Pokemon up at the front that are good for the area I'm in, and basically have another Pokemon that wouldn't fare so well in that area leech experience with the experience share. Now, thankfully, the Pokemon in that area are high enough leveled that I'll get decent experience from them, but not high enough that they'll actually be faster than me, and I can usually get the first hit in and just take them out. So, yeah, we're almost done with this route, the Cycling Road. Not too many trainers left, and yeah, like I said, here's Trap starting to take off with all the experience and stuff. Oh wait, I think I might have actually gotten everything here. Huh, looking at Trap's levels now, he actually isn't the highest level. Well, technically not. Ending off, I think Alola ends up having the same amount of experience as Trap does. But, yeah, Trap and Alola are basically the best I've got right now. Kind of an inevitable thing, because these Trap and Alola, as a Gardevoir and a Magmar, are just, like, inherently better Pokemon than some of my other team members. And here starts the Silence Bridge part. I was just checking to make sure I got all the trainers and didn't, like, miss anything. I think I dropped a few frames here because it's getting really choppy. One thing to note, off-screen, I went to that house and got the Super Rod. I wasn't thinking, and I just got it off-screen, and at that point I was, like, really despondent and didn't really care, and I was like, whatever, I'll just tell him I got the Super Rod. But yeah, I got the Super Rod. And that guy actually issues a challenge to you. You can bring a Magikarp to him, and if it's a big enough Magikarp, super special stuff happens. Supposedly. You cannot have a Raichu. Your Raichu sucks. It isn't shiny. So, yeah, Eva's massive defensive stats plus Dig allows it to do a lot against that thing. And I was actually surprised Gina outsped that Delcatty. I thought Delcatties were fairly fast, you know, because they're like cats and stuff. And an amazing critical there took out that Giraffe rig in one hit. Ferrets are cool, but yeah, fairly bland. They're the typical normal type that you always see. I actually have to make a trip back to the Pokemon Center about halfway through this because I just don't have the items to do some on-the-spot healing for my Pokemon. Takes a bit of time, but what can you do? And something really stupid happens with this. The Clefable fucking explodes on me and takes out Eva. I was like, God damn it. Clefable, why you gotta do this? I guess what really just pissed me off there was that, due to the explosion, no experience was gained by anyone. Due to Gina's stats, Brick Break actually did more to that Milotic than the super effective Mega Drain, though Milotic is more of a special defender. And here I'm just checking out the possible benefits of Sky Uppercut. I'd prefer the perfect accuracy over the slightly higher damage output. Okay. So this ended up being pretty good because most of my Pokemon ended up with levels like 37 and 38, and now they're, while Alola were initially like Alola and Trap were initially ahead before, now they're fairly on the level with everything else. So I should have a fairly balanced team when trying to take on a Team Rocket at Silphco, which is what I'm gonna do first, since it's more of an opportunity to gain more experience because the gym leaders are fairly tough, with their revamped teams and really high levels. I do appreciate that he revamped everything in this game with new teams and stuff, but it can be a little annoying at times, just due to really how much harder the game is. It's like, this is really an example of making a Pokemon game challenging, because I've actually had some fairly tough fights in this. I mean, the early gym leaders were really tough, because it was at a point in the game where you're not really gonna see full teams. Like, if you do, it's gonna be like 6 Magikarps or something. So it's kind of a bit of an unfair move, really, because you're probably not gonna have your own team ironed out at that point. Though with a full roster spanning every single generation at that point does give you a lot of options. You usually like to take your time with team building. But yeah, you might not have a fully ironed out team yet, and you're going up against what's admittedly a high-level team for what you've been facing at this point, and it's a full team. But I do like this hack, because there was a lot of effort put into this. It's not just like put 386 Pokemon into the game and just leave everything else the same. Not that that's a bad thing, I mean, it's a cool idea, but it's really nothing more than like an expansion on an already existing game. Like, I've played Pokemon Emerald 386 recently, which is, as you'd expect, Pokemon Emerald, just now you can catch all 386 Pokemon in it. And it's cool and all, but there's like very little change. The only changed trainer I've seen so far is like the second fight you have with your rival. May now has a Torkoal for some reason, which was actually kind of annoying because Torkoal tends to suck a bit more later on in the game, but starting off, you know, it's like it's a no evolution Pokemon, so it's got slightly better stats for what you'd be seeing at the time, and it can be a bit hard to deal with. But another problem I have with Emerald 386 is that while it adds the 386 Pokemon, it pretty much just leaves anything that you could encounter in regular Emerald there. So it's like you constantly run into Poochyena and Zigzagoons and stuff when you're trying to look for all the new stuff that's been added. It's not like this, where he reworked all the encounters and everything and added new Pokemon. Or no, just like didn't leave all the same stuff there and actually like reworked the encounter percentages. So yeah, fairly good hack and nice effort put into this. Better than Emerald 386. Not to say that Emerald 386 is that bad. It's just Emerald with more Pokemon in it. So, if you like Pokemon Emerald, try out Pokemon Emerald 386. It's got everything you like in Emerald, plus all the Pokemon available to you. Isn't that great? Anywho, we're sort of getting to the end game here, because we're past the initial bridge area, and now we're just going along to Fuchsia again. It's kind of embarrassed I had to switch out on a Farfetch, but there wasn't much Eva could do to it, and once it gets up a Swords Dance or two, it really starts to become, well, anything really starts to become a threat once it gets Swords Dance up. Ah, Pelipper. Electricity destroys these things. Well, I really hate it when Pokemon stall you out by using Protect, because okay, I can see the appeal of it. It like gives you a chance to see what your opponent can do and work out a strategy to counter, but when you're just like delaying the inevitable, you really have to wonder, why bother? Haha. Why do these twins get to have starters? I only have one starter. Well, actually, no, you can get all the starters. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. It's just been a while since I've played this. Okay. All the things I could be doing right now, like playing some shitty online game or playing Resident Evil Mercenaries 3D. Fun game, though it is really just like one big mini-game packaged into a 3DS cartridge. Not that that's a bad thing necessarily. You know, I mean, I did like Resident Evil 4. Haven't played Resident Evil 5, but from what I get, it's essentially Resident Evil 4 with some slightly retooled mechanics. But yeah, I like that, and I did like the Mercenary minigame. Also, this is something that really confuses me. Weezing with Fire Blast. Interesting, but I can't really see why. Weezing isn't a great special attacker, and why was he using it on a Raichu? Whatever. I guess the guy can do what he wants. It's his Pokemon. At this point, my team is starting to peter out a bit, and I didn't really want to waste too many Super Potions, so I basically start going into a strategy of just like putting the Pokemon that I want to level up a bit up front, and then switch into something that would be more useful against what I'm fighting. Zangoose is cool. I like Zangoose. Better than Seviper. Not to say that Seviper isn't cool either, I just like Zangoose better. And here I make a misclick and accidentally use Water Gun twice, which was effectively doing nothing. But I do get paralysis on the hit with Spark, so that was nice. And now Salad is basically cannon fodder, because anytime I switch into him, he'll get killed. And this Corollia, despite getting up a Calm Mind, isn't able to do much against Eva's feint attacks. I decided to switch out Bite for feint attack, because while flinching is nice, Eva doesn't really have Serene Grace or anything that could allow me to take advantage of its flinching ability. So having perfect accuracy is always sort of a handy perk to have on your Pokemon. I swear we're almost done with this. And you think this is boring. Wait until the training for the Nuzlocke run, where I have to like grind insanely if I want to make sure my entire team survives the whole thing. You really have to do a lot of training for Nuzlocke runs if you want to make it through the Elite Four and the Champion battle, because if one thing goes awry, you could have some serious problems. You can't revive your team members, so uh-oh. And of course, with the rules I'm playing, if I get a single game over, even if I have Pokemon left in the PC, there's no continuing from there. Plus, it would be kind of hard to do, since most of the things I have in PC are, like, in the 10s, compared to my current team, which is mostly in the 30s. Well, actually, is entirely in the 30s. I'm still a little sad over Noodle. And I decided to skip out on Rest and Snore, because it's not really a strategy I'm fond of using. Plus, if I really wanted something that with Rest, I would have just, like, used Snorlax. Anywho, this is where a situation where Bosberry would have been handy to have at front, but then again, maybe not, since this Altaria just has Takedown and would have pretty much decimated Bosberry. Now, I kind of lucked out, and he decided to be an idiot and just used Dragon Dance twice. So Spark managed to whittle him down. And now we get to see Eva beast a Ludicolo. Ludicolo are cool, just so you know. And we're almost at the end here. This is the last trainer. I just decided to keep Eva in for the experience, and I don't know what the hell I was trying to do there. I was trying to use Brick Break, but I forgot I set it to default. Okay, so here we are at the end, and yeah, so this was all just basically a chance to get experience for Silphco and the next few gyms. So until next time, see ya!